If you were keeping up with the coaster world in the year 2023, you would have seen that Hersheypark announced they are closing their Wildcat GCI roller coaster to make way for Wildcat's Revenge. Wildcat's Revenge is the RMC hybrid conversion of the original Wildcat roller coaster. In August of 2023, I got the chance to ride this incredible ride, and today I'm going to give you my review on it. Now, when the operators gave the all clear for the ride to dispatch, I was not ready for what was about to happen. This ride is absolutely insane. The pre-lift having some airtime and everything after the train drops off the chain lift is absolutely insane. You don't get a break to think about what's happening. You're just going in element after element. The pacing on this ride is beautiful. You don't feel like you're slowing down. It just feels like it's getting faster, more intense, more airtime, all the above. Breaking down into going into some more specific parts of the ride, let's start with the drop. Dropping from a max height of 140 feet with an 82-degree angle in the very back row, this drop is crazy. You get thrown out of your seat right into your restraint before slamming back down and going into the next element. After you drop off the lift, you'll experience the first inversion out of 4 on this ride, which is the world's largest underflip. In the back row, this element gets some pretty good hang time. Other than that, nothing too special. The next element on this ride that you're going to experience right after pulling out of that underflip is an ejector airtime camelback. No matter where you're sitting on the train, whether it's the front, back, or middle of the train, you are experiencing this airtime, and it's amazing. Getting launched into your restraint with such strong airtime is a great feeling. This next section of ride, you're going to rise up, bank to the right a little bit, and head into this wave turn like element where you're going sideways and you're getting airtime. This section of the ride is definitely one of my favorite moments of this entire coaster. Once you come down from that element, you're going to fly past the lift hill and pull up into the second inversion of the ride, the 0G stall. Although you go through this element pretty fast, it still gives great hang time no matter what. If you're also riding with your hands in the air, you'll get great hand choppers from the supports right under you. Pulling out of the stall, you're going to whip down to the right and enter another wave turn element, giving you more sideways airtime. But the next element is definitely my favorite part of the ride. You're going to rise up into this double down, giving you great ejector airtime, going to the left without banking, so you get an insane amount of laterals coming down, and then once you get pulled back down, a great pop of ejector airtime before entering your next inversion. The third inversion you're about to experience is one of the craziest inversions on this ride, if not the craziest. This inversion will whip you to the right so fast that you will have no control of your body or what's happening to you. Once you come out of that 0G roll, you're going to come bank to the left, go through a little bank curve, and head into the fourth and final inversion, the last 0G roll. This 0G roll, you're going to whip to the left, pass over the lift hill, and under the 0G roll you just went through. It's not much different, but still gives a great sensation. During this last section of ride, you're going to pop up on a little airtime hill, get some ejector airtime, go up one more time, turn to the left, and right into the brakes. This part of the ride feels like a car crash, but in a good way. If you like violent rides such as all these RMC hybrids, this ride is definitely for you. Giving the ride a strong finish, throwing you around uncontrollably before slamming into the brakes at such high speeds. Now that I've talked about the individual elements on the ride and what happens, I'm going to give my review and ratings. I'm going to be rating this coaster's speed, airtime, inversions, comfort, and overall ride experience. With a top speed of 62 miles per hour, Wildcat's Revenge holds its speed really well throughout the layout. The pacing, as I mentioned before, is incredible. You don't feel like you're slowing down at all. I feel like this ride is able to maintain its speed really well because it doesn't have too many large drawn out elements, where the tallest element you're going to find is the underflip. I'm going to be rating this coaster speed as a 10 out of 10. Airtime. The airtime on this ride, as I've described throughout most of this video, you get airtime everywhere. Pure ejector. The way through 90% of this ride, you're getting launched into your restraint is amazing. I'm giving this ride's airtime 10 out of 10. Moving on to the inversions on this ride, all 4 are great inversions, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they're not the most unique or intense inversions I've ever experienced. Also saying that, I do have to give them credit for being some of the most whippiest inversions I've experienced, talking about mainly the pullout of the 0G stall and the 2 0G rolls at the end of the ride. So with that said, I'm going to give this ride's inversions a good 8 out of 10. Moving on to the comfort of the ride, this ride, in my opinion, is extremely comfortable. Wildcat's Revenge has the same seats you can find on almost every RMC, especially Steel Vengeance, Iron Gwazi, and Twisted Timbers. While I must admit the shin guard is pretty annoying, it really doesn't bother me all that much, and I'm not affected by it. This ride also uses a different kind of seatbelt, more of a plastic kind of seatbelt like you'll find on a car seat or something. With that, I'm giving this ride's comfort a 9 out of 10. The reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is because if you have the seatbelt in a certain spot, you'll be getting launched not only into your restraint, but into the seatbelt, which makes it a little uncomfortable. But now moving on to the overall ride experience. Adding up everything I've covered in this video, such as the speed, airtime, comfort, etc., my overall ride experience and what I fully think of this ride. And for me personally, this ride is a perfect 10 out of 10. If you don't like aggressive rides, then this ride may not be that high up for you. But for me, between how aggressive it is, airtime, etc., it's amazing. The perfect ride right next to Steel Vengeance. Obviously, I don't think it's better than Steel Vengeance, but again, that's just my personal opinion, although it is my second favorite coaster of all time. But with all that said, that is my full review on Hersheypark's new roller coaster, Wildcat's Revenge. I definitely recommend getting out to Hershey, Pennsylvania and riding this insane ride. And with that, that is not the end of this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.